Hello, good afternoon, good evening in Zambia, wherever you are. This is the Insaka Talk Show. My name is Priska. Thank you for tuning in. We do have a new face in the studio today, but I'll start with Nelly, all the way from Dallas, Texas. How are you?
I'm feeling a little green today.
You look very green, very off, very rich anti vibes. You're
Thank
looking
you.
good.
Thank you. We are on pins and needles. The Zambian team is playing. I don't know what the final score is, but please don't let me know until after the show.
We're all right. We're okay. I'm not even going to talk about it because you called me a fake Zambian, but let's move.
Oh yeah,
New
that's very.
Jersey, William Sunday, you look amazing. Great job this morning. You produced the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling like a princess. You see that? Like everything is just princess today. I'm like,
I love it.
there's a game behind me, so I'm like, I need to look pretty, whether we lose or win. It's gonna find me pretty.
Last but not least, we have our guest today, King of Africa, also runs a blog thing on Facebook called Z Now. How are you? Welcome to the Insaka Talk Show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing amazing. A little
Yeah,
bit about
awesome.
yourself before we jump into it.
Well, you know what? I'm just first of all, I'm excited to be having this game going on with Zambia. So we're going to see how we're going to come off. Right now, it's kind of like we're living on the edge. 1-1. It's like, this team is not really like any competition with us. So we're rooting for Zambia, anyways. We'll see.
All right. Good luck, Zambia. There you have it. I am Zambian, very Zambian today. I should have worn green, but there you have it. Good luck, Zambia. Icebreaker question today.
Mm.
An icebreaker question today is, how do you manage to stay motivated and positive in a challenging work environment? Winnie, you work with a lot of children.
Oh, I pray. I pray that God today this kids may not give me a hard time because I don't have time for this. I cannot do nothing about it. I'm here to work and make money. I just pray and I just stay calm.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nelly,
How do I manage to stay motivated? It's funny. I had this conversation yesterday. I was talking to Sandra, and mostly to do with like body image. You look at yourself and you're like, you start to see all the negative things about yourself. And I was like, you know what I usually do? I look at myself and every day I try to find something that I can actually, how do I put this? Hype myself on. I'll be like, damn, girl, look at your skin. You're glowing.
yeah,
You're so beautiful.
yeah,
Nice.
So yeah, I think self motivation, talk to yourself positively.
that's
It
good.
helps.
That's good.
King of Africa.
The word is going to put you down, so don't be the first in line to do that. You have to speak to
Self-sabotage.
yourself in a positive light. Yeah.
I'm learning that, and I learned that from you.
Mhm.
I'm learning. I am my worst critic. Like,
Yeah.
I look at myself like, I'm learning that. Thank you for that tip. King of Africa, also known as Zed Now, how do you manage to stay motivated and positive in a challenging work environment?
Yeah, so for me, it's just about, understanding that if I don't do this, nobody else is going to. So
Mhm.
whatever that I do, I take it with extreme ownership.
Mhm.
And, I don't expect the whole world like to be behind me and rally behind me just because whatever that I'm doing, um,
Mhm.
it's my dream. It's my goal that I need to achieve. So every single day I move like nobody else is behind me. So that's why I even came up with the name King of
Mhm.
Africa, just because I was going for the take, and so I was just like, it's me versus me.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
it. So that's how
Nice.
I move. Yeah.
Okay. And
For
you, Krista,
me,
how do you stay motivated and positive?
at work, my work is very depressing. I work in oncology. So for me to see that if a patient, if I have a case that's very tough and the insurance denies it, and I do an appeal, and that
Mhm.
appeal has been approved, and I know that the patient is going to get treatment, treatment that they deserve and the treatment that they need to get for them to be well. So once I have an approval for the insurance to say yes, that keeps me motivated. And I'm like, okay, let me move on to the next patient and to the next patient and the next patient. My other work, where I have my own business, I do hair. I do hair and I stand behind. I'm like, I am the truth. Look at me.
Every
Yes,
day.
you do.
I think I should say what motivates me too after yours. You say that every day. She's doing her hair. Oh, look at this. I'm the truth. I'm the like Jesus.
I know. Once I do something, I'm like, I'm good. I should just be on somebody's TV somewhere.
Mm.
And when I have clients call me and say nobody else can do my hair the way you do my hair, so that motivates me. And unfortunately, I'm giving that up. I'm giving that career up.
That's good. I forgot one thing. I said what positive, right? But what motivates me is my kids on the nonprofit foundation. Like to see them from where they were and to see them now going to school, going to college, like that makes me, when I'm doing it, I don't even care where, how it's gonna come. I'm like, we're gonna do this. Like just today, we just paid for one of the students who's gonna go for masters, and I'm so excited.
Oh, wow.
Just to speak to him this morning and just say, Mom, tomorrow is the first day. I'm like, damn, like that.
Wow.
That's why I'm looking pretty. Hey,
You go, Winnie.
yeah,
Good
so
job.
keep on donating. Thank you.
So our topic today is horrible bosses. Now that we're talking about work, we're actually doing a series this year called Horrible. A series is horrible. We have horrible bosses this week. Next week we have horrible friends. So you horrible friends, Muicheme. Then we have we have horrible parents and horrible children, horrible in-laws. So stay tuned. But our trending topic today, our guest is going to tell us about the trending. What is trending today? What?
Absolutely. So, what's trending today? Well, guys, listen, I have my brand new song Temptation out, which
Yay.
is available for streaming on every single platform. So, if you want to be on a good feel, dance vibe, you can head on to every single platform. I'm talking about Boomplay, I'm talking about Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, Tidal, whatever you choose, YouTube Music too, even on TikTok. If you feel like you want to do a dance challenge, just go for it. Go for it. And to make things even more spicy, guys, I've even put up a dance challenge, right? A lot of people are not even taking advantage of that. I've given some money away before. But,
Ooh.
I'm doing that.
I hope I get to see you like doing that, Winnie. I promise you.
I'll do it. I'm doing it. Listen, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna challenge. Yay! I have something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, I appreciate you, just having me on the platform here and letting me talk about that. Just because it feels good to be appreciated, be hosted by somebody else except for your own platform. And so, I appreciate you guys for having me.
That's right.
Thank you for coming.
KOA. What does that stand for?
KOA stands for King of Africa. And with that, I come from a background of just royalty. So, the Chitimukulu, the Shaka Zulu family as well, so I feel like I need to embody that within myself, so I'm over here to take over.
I love you.
Are we able to just see the song, Nelly?
Yes. So I think I'm going to give us a little teaser of the song Temptations by KOA. So let's see. Let's do this, guys.
That is nice. I love that. You come from the royalty. Like that is stop. See, I come from the Queens.
Hey.
Run away hesitation, no the woman. Everything is a woman, my woman. Run away hesitation, no the woman. Woman, elite banana. You got a vibe of an African beauty. What is it that you're looking for? All the bad girls need attention, temptation. You're in love with your body. Hesitation. You need somebody. Can you?
Oh,
Did I win the
that's
dance challenge?
So,
Yes. And we'll
It's
see.
a nice vibe. It's a nice vibe. But can we talk about the cover? What?
Well, I was scared at the first time because I don't like snakes.
Yes, I can't stand snakes. Like
You can't
seriously,
stand snakes.
I
Well,
cannot.
that's the whole point. You need to run away from all that. 'Cause that's the perfect image of temptation. So when you think about Adam and Eve in the
Mm,
garden, right? You're
mm,
thinking about her being tempted by the snake, and then you're looking at the fruit, the apples being bitten off. So what I'm
mm,
pretty much talking about in this scenario here is like, hey, this world is just full of all these things that are surrounding us. Just like when you go outside, everything is a billboard, like you're being marketed,
mm.
everything which is negative towards you. So you need to figure out like what's your poison, or you just run away from all the poison. So that's
Nice.
pretty much what I'm talking about in the song.
Okay, makes sense.
That makes sense because I was like, I cannot. What is this?
What was he doing?
It's very graphic.
Yeah, but it's a hot topic that we can dive into. There is more to it. Just for the sake of time, that was more like just a
Mm,
synopsis of
mm,
what the cover is talking about.
absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
that's fair. There you have it, guys. He will be back on the show to talk more about the song himself, how he got started, and the Z Now blog that he runs on Facebook. When I came across it, I was like, who's this crazy boy? Then I heard just, and I was like, damn, he can't even sing too. Good.
Good job, Oscar.
It's like,
Well, no, I'll be back anytime that you guys will have me. Once again, I appreciate you all, and everybody who's watching. Make sure that you follow the Insaka Talk Show.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
With that being said, we will go. Do you want to say something, Navi?
No, go ahead. I was just about to say the same thing. Go ahead.
We go to commercial, we come back, we talk about horrible bosses. I'm sure most of us have experienced those bosses that are horrible.
My whole life, my father told me stories about moving to the United States. He would tell me that his brother, my Uncle George, was already living here and let my father stay with him for a while. Through my Uncle George, my father was introduced to our cultural organization here in America, who helped him make connections, apply for college, find his first job, and adjust to life in a completely different culture than he was used to. The Cultural Association helped him get started on his new life. My Uncle George would bring my father with him to the annual Summer Cultural Groups Festival, and later, he would bring me. It was incredible to see so many people of all ages laughing and celebrating with food and song and dance. It brought back the best feelings of home and gave my father the opportunity to pass his culture, language, and values on to me. My father and Uncle George were very close, so when George died last year, my father wanted to honor his wishes to be buried with a traditional ceremony back at his birthplace. My father told me that because Uncle George had cultural group life insurance, he was able to afford to bring George home and have the traditional burial George wanted. Though my father had been able to honor my Uncle George's wishes, it got me thinking about my own family. One day, I'd have to make the same arrangements for my own parents, and my wife's parents as well. Of course, we would want to bring them home and honor their wishes, but it would be a financial hardship for our family. There were a lot of things to think about, even though I really didn't want to think about them at all. When my father told me about cultural group life insurance, he told me it's intended to help families when they need it the most. It's not tied to an employer, so no matter where my career takes me, I'll always have coverage. The more people who participate and the younger they are, the more it helps keep the insurance premiums down for the entire association. Because my parents have cultural group term life insurance, there will be money available to help me provide the kind of service I want to give my parents. And by joining, I can put my mind at ease and continue to celebrate our traditions into the future. With cultural group life insurance, I can worry less and spend more of my time celebrating with the people who matter most to me.
Hello, hello, and welcome back. This is the Insaka Talk Show. If you're just joining us today, we are talking about horrible bosses. But before we get into it, we do have something happening in our community.
Mhm.
The Kwamboka Gala happening April 13th, 2024 in Dallas, Texas. I don't know much about it, but I just know that more I don't know what the Kwamboka is. Winnie Nelly.
Well, the Kuomboka ceremony is a ceremony that happens once a year in Zambia, where the Litunga, who is the king of the Lozis, migrates. You know, during the rainy season when it gets like waterlogged, he migrates from that area to upper ground. So him and his people migrate. So it's like a big ceremony. There's a boat. I just remember watching it as a kid. There used to be like a big boat. It's painted in black and white. There's an elephant there. But obviously, when we have the Kuomboka planning team on the show, they will tell us more about that. But if you want to get some information on it, definitely on all social media platforms, it's there. Mo Kalaluka is one of those people that are spearheading this this gala. So if you want to get more information, get in touch with her. But we'll also have them on the show.
Yeah. And it's all cultures, right? I saw a clip where it was like, I was like, the Kwamboka is a Lozi. And I think they were doing the Nsenga dance or the Eastern dance. And someone said it's like the Nsenga, the Eastern, the Bembers, like all cultures at this gala. It's not just about the Lozis, it's just a name, correct?
Yeah, so this ceremony is definitely a Lozi, right? The Kuomboka is a Lozi tradition.
Mhm.
However, the gala is open to everyone who is able to pay the fee and attend. So yeah, I think they'll come and shed more light about that when they come on the show. So yeah.
We'll stay tuned
All
until
right,
they come. Yep.
let's get into it.
All right, horrible bosses.
I wanted to say something before the horrible boss says. I know we are missing out one person here, Irene. She's not feeling well. She came from Zambia, has been sick for a minute. So Irene, get well soon, and we'll see you when you get better.
Yep, get well soon, Irene. She actually sent her contribution or talking points rather for what we're going to discuss today. So I will be sharing that some of what she shared regarding this topic. So, Priska.
All right. Give me a second. Have you ever been discriminated against based on your accent at work? Nelly, you're in corporate America. Well, you don't even sound African though. When you're at work.
We do. Honestly, and it's funny because I've heard this from so many people who say, you know what, I am a global citizen. Because when you're here in the workplace, everybody's like, where are you from? You have an accent, right? And when you're back home, they're like, oh, where are you from? You have an accent. So you're like, okay.
Right. Oh, I have an accent.
So you know, come to realize we're global citizens. So whether you like it or not, no matter how polished or American some people may say you sound, you know, when you're at work, there's always somebody who's going to say, "Oh, you have an accent. Where is that from?" But to say that have I been discriminated against based on my accent, I think in the corporate world, it's not really like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe other workplaces, you will get subtle. Like I have a friend who used to work in a department store, and she would say she was talking to someone and say, "Oh yeah, there's a customer that's returning a vase," and she's like, "It's a vase." Like, so it's like tomato, you know, type of situation. So I don't know. What about you, Winnie?
I have. And you know what's crazy? With what I do, I always have to, when I'm a co-host, I always have to announce, my name is Krista. I'm calling from this place, and this is what I'm calling for. the first thing you hear if you have those disrespectful, rude customer service is what? I can't hear you. So my first, I'm already defensive. You don't understand me or you can't hear me. Which one is it?
Right.
So they'll be like, I don't know what you're saying, or I don't understand you. And then the nurses that I used to work with, a lot of the times, it required a lot of phone calls. They'll be like, I cannot understand you. So what I used to do is I would just send an email. Writing does not have an accent. So yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah, Winnie.
Yeah, but yes, because like some parents will come in with the kids, and then just because I'm African, no matter how I look pretty and dress up, I'm still gonna be African. It shows on my face. We are not African Americans, we are Africans. So they're like, oh, may I speak to the African lady? I'm like, hey, 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 hey. I am Winnie. I have a name. And you know what? The last time I checked, I know where I'm from. I remember when I just got here, I think I used to work in clothing store in the city, being in Manhattan. And then I'm from Africa. I was, I think, 19. So this African girl was buying something. I forgot, it was just a nice, beautiful store. She was buying something. I think she came to exchange, but you're only supposed to exchange with the receipt. And I'm there on the cashier. She's like, can I exchange this? I don't have a receipt. I'm like, the police says you have to have a receipt. She's like, oh, go back where you're from. I'm like, at least I know where I'm from. You don't have anywhere.
Wow.
Oh, your accent, I can't even understand you. I'm like, as long as you know what I'm talking about, I'm not cursing you like you are doing, but you're becoming a fool. But I'm not going to be a fool, but I know who I am. I have a home.
Yeah.
And it ends there. So sometimes you just have to stay and know because sometimes they'll make you feel bad. So you just have to stick to what you believe in. I have a home. I know where I came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had, friends tell me, especially when you're doing customer service over the phone. I have a friend who confided in me. She was like, I'm on the phone, and the first thing you hear is, can I speak to somebody in America?
Oh,
Right? Oh, yeah. Like, she's like, I'm in America. Where are you? I'm in Texas. Where exactly? She's like, wait, are you trying to get my address or what is it?
What?
Right. So,
people
yes,
just mean.
customer service. And now that I remember, I did customer service before, for a cable company. And we had to take about 100 to 120 calls a day. And each time you are answering the phone, thank you for calling, blah, blah, blah. My name is blah, blah. How may I be of help? And so I got so tired of saying that, I just recorded it. And so that when the phone rings, it would automatically.
I can see you doing that.
You are a fool.
I just recorded it so I don't have to repeat it, because I found myself saying it in my sleep. And then there'll be people like, oh, I can't understand, or whatever. Anyway.
You sometimes make a mistake when your phone rings and you're like, did you find yourself? I find myself doing that.
Yeah, most of the time. So
Well, I always answer my phone like that if it's not any of people that I talk to all the time, like you guys or my family, then I'll be like, hello, this is Nelly. How may I help you? That's how I answer my phone. So. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All right. So yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments if you've had that if you've had that experience in the workplace where somebody really just calls out your accent and makes it seem as if you are dumb because your accent is different. There's a difference between, oh, could you maybe explain that a little slower for me, than I just don't know what you're saying because you sound dumb, because you don't sound like the way I sound,
And it's crazy. I just thought about it. Like in Zambia, people do that a lot. They think if you have an accent, that means you're stupid. Accent equals to not being intelligent.
I like that. Yeah, and you're right about that, right? Because so Mo says it happens to her all the time.
Yeah.
That's funny because you're like, when Mo speaks, her English accent is not, you can tell there are certain people that when they speak, yes, there's like a thick
heavy, thick
accent there. And then there are people that speak and it's just like, hey, I hear words, right? And
Yeah.
that's all that's needed. If somebody can enunciate their words and you can tell what they're saying, then wow, why bother with the whole accent thing? Um, anyway.
Anyway.
So let's move on to the next point here. How do you deal with discrimination in the workplace?
HR.
Mhm. Yeah,
Make HR your best friend.
true. But can we define discrimination though?
One of them is an accent. One of them is accent.
Being passed on for a promotion that you feel like you worked hard for, you deserved, but you're not getting it.
And thinking of that, I read somewhere, like, how every year there's a performance evaluation thing?
Mhm.
Someone, an HR manager said, do not let somebody do your performance evaluation when you're not here. Because you know what happens most of the times? You
Mm,
sit there and your manager just goes through, oh, this is what I did, this is what I did, sign here.
mm,
And you get passed on because when I worked at University of Maryland, if you took certain classes or you did this, you met your whatever you're supposed to meet and you exceeded,
mhm.
right? So then, therefore, could I get a promotion?
Mm.
This reminds me. This reminds me. Sorry, I saw something on these social media streets. So the this guy gets called. This lady gets called in the office by the manager and says, "Oh, this is your yearly performance evaluation, and we are going to, they tackled like, um, helping customers. You exceeded expectations. Da 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 da. You did very well. You did very well. Oh, no, no, no. She said you did very well, very well, very well. And then in the end, she's like, oh, so can I get a raise then? Because you said I did really, really well. She said, no, only people that exceed expectations get raises. And she's like, but you just said I did really well. She said, yeah, I never score anybody as exceeds expectations. So in other words, nobody gets
Oh my God.
nobody gets a raise.
So then what is she doing?
No, it's not fair.
So like 5 minutes later, she's like, oh, we need someone to come in on Saturday. She's like, no, I'm not coming in.
Yeah, because that's the reason why we go there, right?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Like, oh, you've been working in place of everybody that's calls in and this. Oh, but all of a sudden I'm not good enough. So
Yeah.
workplace discrimination. Winnie, have you faced it? And how do you deal with it?
I actually, no, I've never faced it. Let me not lie on that one. Because but yeah, he's talking about us right now. No, really, but it was somewhere where I was working, where like how there was another person that was just like me, worked like me, right? But it was like more favors to them. Like if it was time for them to go home, they can just say, oh, I gotta go home, I have something that I need to do. They will let them go. But really, because I work well, I'm fine, I'm able to do what they want. Like, when you can close today, I'm like, why can I go? So then I learned, I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, no matter how I do it, I'm not gonna go home. So I just used to say, like, I'm leaving early today, I gotta go pick up my kids. So I realized that sometimes you can win, and then being African, of course, that comes in. Sometimes you can't win. So I just like, you know what? When it's 6 o'clock, I don't care what's happening. By 6 o'clock, my shoes are on and my jacket, and I leave.
I want to share. Thank you, Winnie. I want to share something that Irene shared in regards to this topic. So, in defining what a horrible boss is, right? Bosses that don't have empathy, like you just explained, somebody that is not thinking about others in the same way that they would think about themselves, like put themselves in your position if you needed to even go take care of your family. Bosses that don't lead by example, bosses that lack focus, and they take credit for other people's work. So those are some of the examples that Irene shared. But yeah, Moses, that's my favorite topic. That's the reason I'm a DEI advocate. What does DEI mean, Mo?
Yeah, Google it.
I'm curious. Do you know?
I'm looking DEI.
Okay, so how do you deal with the mic? No, that's not. We're still doing that.
I have. Well,
You have?
when
Oh, sorry, Priska, you didn't talk
Yes.
about your
no,
your experience. Winnie said she's already talked about it.
I feel like I was discriminated in my last job. That's why I even left. I had a horrible boss, Nicholas Jada, wherever you are, you were horrible. You were micromanaging.
Well, that's a second one.
Discriminated.
Discrimination.
Everything was a horrible boss. But let's move on. Yes.
So how did you deal with it? You quit?
I made HR my best friend,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I was writing every single. I was 2 steps ahead of him. He just had it out for me. And the worst part was when you realize that I did some research on him. He came onto the cancer center. He came from a different background, and he was just a new boss. He didn't even understand how the system worked and how everything worked. So I did my research, and I found out like he didn't even know what he was doing. So I confronted him, and every time he wanted to have a meeting with me, I asked to be with somebody else because I felt harassed. So every single time, I emailed HR after every meeting, before every meeting, and I explained to him, this is a process. I've been here over a decade, and this is not how this works. But the best thing that happened to me is when I said, you know what, goodbye. And I opened my own business. That's the best thing that ever happened. So Nicholas Jada, thank you.
Oh.
Okay.
I was harassed in every way, every single way, because I stood up for myself. And eventually I requested to have a meeting with the VP. And I'm South African. I've lived through it all, where you see 2 white males with a black female in an office. And every time I had something to say, Stan will be like, no, that's not it. And I'm not afraid to mention their names anyway. No, that's not it. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it went. Eventually, I was like, you know what? I'll be the last Black woman that you're going to harass, and that you're going to show your racist behavior, man, Trump-like behavior. I'll be the last one. And before I left, I gave an exit interview. I gave in my 6 days notice, and I just cleaned out my desk and everything else. And PVS was born. Priska Van Stas Beauty Studio was born.
Sometimes it takes that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes that. So have you ever had experienced micromanaged, and how did you deal with it? How did you deal with it?
Yes.
And she just answered. I quit. One.
Yes, and
I quit.
Yeah, I think.
But I have an amazing boss right now. I love my boss. He's amazing. He listens to me. He gives me a task. I turn around. He gives me raises. I get bonuses. So I love my boss right now.
Yeah, I can see. It's been 2 years in a row. 3 years in a row. I can see, Priska, you're doing very well. I like your boss too.
No, I think micromanagement, first of all, what is micromanagement? Like the managing style where, to put it plainly, your manager is breathing down your neck. Like it feels like they're breathing down your neck every 5 seconds, whatever you're doing there in your face. So have you experienced it? Yes, I personally have experienced it. And how do you deal with it? You call it out, because sometimes they don't know that that's what they're doing, that's the behavior that they are perpetuating. So you have a sit down and you call it out, and if that doesn't change, then you go above them and call it out.
Speaking of calling out, we need to know our rights. Guys, whatever state you are in, go on your state website, read what your rights are. One thing that, and Liz and I had this conversation yesterday, how we are almost from the African background, we work so hard, and we almost feel guilty to call out or take a day off. We just like, oh, I'm almost afraid, I don't want to, but you have that right, you know. And even when it comes to work, every 4 to 6 hours, you're entitled to take a 15-minute break.
Yeah.
And anything after 6 hours, you're entitled to take a 30-minute break. And most of us do not even understand. So, like Nelly said, call it out and know your rights and know what you can do. There are labor laws here in the United States of America. I'm sure in Zambia too.
I'm gonna go to Zambia. I think I would say in Zambia, people have their maids, their nannies, and their people work from the outside. There are some people who treat them like families, but some people are just horrible. You are horrible bosses. It's not fair. You pay them less money and then you treat them like they're not family. If somebody's going to leave your home, their home with their family to come and work for you, that means they want to get something. It's half and half. They come in to work for you to get something for themselves, and then you get work done. So it means they're taking care of your home or your children. I've seen it on Facebook, and this girl was like, oh my gosh. I think I know the person. If you see it, that doesn't matter. I don't even care. She goes, oh my gosh, I just came to work. I found my nanny sleeping on the couch with my daughter. She didn't even finish washing the dishes. I'm like, what if she got a headache? What if she's tired? What if she's sick? And then you have to go put it on the Facebooks. Like, what kind of likes are you looking for? You need to stop being a horrible people. Just because it's great you have education, but listen, life is like that. It goes up and up. If we are all working under somebody, just treat each and everybody good. Respect one another. It's work. Everybody goes to work and they get according to what they earn. So let's treat them good. Stop being horrible bosses. You know who I'm talking to. You people. You know me.
Which brings us to micromanaging. Does it affect your work performance? Yes. Because especially when you are mistreating your maid, that's a person that cooks your food. That's a person that takes care of your children. That's a person that's in your home. If anything, those are people that you should treat well.
Yeah. If you've ever seen The Help, no.
Nelly says that we better not.
Not to mess with people that prepare your food.
Yeah.
Don't speak, even here, like even in restaurants, it doesn't have to be like your maid, but if you go to a restaurant, the person that's serving you, don't be rude. If something is not right, speak to them with dignity. Because guess what? Between the kitchen and your table, there might be some spit in your food. Be nice.
Even in your cocktail, it can be like,
yeah, and they mix it up with the straw.
Yeah. So let's be
What
honest.
did? Go ahead.
No, I was just going.
I wanted to go back to like when you said treat people that work for you with dignity. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's wife. Just because they're working for you doesn't mean they're stupid. And tables turn around real quick.
They do.
You never
So
know.
I'll tell you a little bit. My sister had somebody who's been working for her. We call her George, since like 15 years now. And
wow.
And this person now, she making him to be doing something even better. She's like, I think about George, and she got a passport for him. She got a driver's license for him. She'd be working for him doing like driving something else. And she's like, I've upgraded him. And it's so beautiful to see that. She got him a land. It's family. If my George says me, I'm born to a sister. That's it. This family. We eat together. But it's very hard when you go to other people. Yes, you can make your maid, especially in Zambia now, because we're becoming more Nigerian. You make them wear a uniform. And then you're with them in the grocery store. And then you're walking behind, they're pushing a cart. I'm like, you need to stop. Like, let's treat people equally. Yes, they can wear a uniform if that's what you want. But when you're coming outside your home, respect them, because let them be human. That's what I feel like. I feel like human rights somewhere there, respecting is going off because I am rich, I'm successful, and I can treat you whatever because I'm paying you. It has to change.
I beg to differ on that example that you provided, Winnie, where the
uniform?
The domestic worker is wearing a uniform. I think if you've had a conversation, and some people actually prefer the uniform because maybe they don't want to be burdened with what am I going to wear? You know, what am I going to wear? Especially if they're working for somebody who's really like very upper class,
Yeah.
and the type of guests that they have, you know, expect you to look a certain way, right? So instead of you take out the guesswork of what am I going to wear, and you just provide a uniform that somebody can put on, and if they're okay with that, I don't see that as a degradation, you know, or of their being. But hey, that's a topic for another day. So, how does micromanagement affect job performance? Priska asked. I think that it takes away accountability, right? Um, every person in the workplace, when you're hired, you're given roles and responsibilities of what you're supposed to do. You know, they go over, okay, we are hiring you to be a nanny. Your job is to make sure the baby is bathed at least once a day, fed 5 times a day, whatever the case may be. So if you've laid out the duties for that particular person, and you know, then you turn around and every 5 minutes, have you fed the baby? Have you bathed the baby? Have you burped the baby? Have you, you know, it's like, come on, you told me what I'm supposed to do. Let me do the work. So micromanagement really takes away the accountability. Let me be the one who's hired now to come and give you reports. Oh, madam, how was your day today? Yeah, the baby ate. He had, you know, steamed carrots in the afternoon, porridge for breakfast, and some crackers in the afternoon. You know, he had a bowel movement, and I bathed him, and he's napping right now. Hey, put the responsibility back on the person that you are paying to do the job. Don't take away their by micromanaging. It's just annoying.
Very
You know what this brings me to us that work from home,
Mm.
because they trust you so much.
Hmm.
You do your work, and working from home, it's a privilege, it's a luxury, but you find yourself working more because
More.
somebody trusts you and know that you're going to do your job right.
Yeah.
So for me, I just wake up, I know what to do. I start 7:30, I finish at 3:30. I know that I need to do these things. I need to get my work done
Hmm.
because there's nobody that's watching me. Have you clocked in? Have you done this? Have you done that? So it's also my boss or somebody that's above me, they respect me and they know that I'm competent enough and capable to do the work that I'm supposed to do. So that eliminates micromanaging.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like, yeah.
And I want to pause this. I want to throw this question for you guys that are watching us. You know, how have you experienced micromanagement? How do you think it affects your performance? Or have you been a micromanager? And if so, why? What led to that? You know, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Prisca.
No. I'm a micro parent. I'm not.
See,
So
that's
you're
why
micromanaging. I think I'm a micro parent too. Yeah, and the reason being is when trust is lost,
Yes.
right? When trust is lost, then you feel like you have to micromanage. What are you
Yes.
doing? Who are you with? Who are you talking to? Like those come in. So I think in the same vein, managers that micromanage probably have had trust lost
issues.
at some point is the
Yes.
reason why. So how do you deal with it? I think again, have a conversation and say, hey, I understand maybe you gave me a project before, I didn't deliver on time, but I've cleaned up my ways. Give me some space so I can do this on my own. But I'm curious to know what you guys think out there that are watching. Put that in the comments, please. All right. Um, let's see. Did we talk about labor? We talked about labor, know your rights, right? But
Yeah, we talk about now, as we talk about now, it's what is the
mhm.
minimum wage as mandated by the United States laws? So in New Jersey, I think it's between $15 and $25 right now.
Between,
Yeah,
ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
Know your state. Do, ma'am.
I know.
In Maryland, it's $15. It used to be $13.25. It's now $15, which is, I know there was a time I used to work for $16 an hour and I lived a normal life, which is very decent.
Yo,
There was a
you,
time I worked for $12. Remember? It was $12 before. $9.99 actually. It was like $9 before. Yeah, when we just came, it was $9 an hour.
do you know what the minimum wage is in Texas?
No.
You'll be shocked.
What is it?
$7.25.
In what? In the big states where everything is big. Honey, stop.
Day and age? My God.
Wow.
Yeah, the minimum wage in Texas is $7.25 an hour. It's and so it is in Utah. I'm looking at the dol.gov website. That's where you can get these statistics from. So yeah, there are places where people get really, really little. Wisconsin is also $7.25. Wyoming is $5.15.
That isn't that people should just not work. They should just all be on government assistance. I think that's okay to be on government assistance. But I have a friend who works for the bank and she said, I think it's this June or sometime soon, Bank of America's minimum wage is going to be $25 an hour.
Oh wow.
Oh.
With no degree required.
Oh yeah, I saw that with no degree required because they realized that the degree is what? It's what did the guy say? It was the scammer for the parents.
Yeah.
So they teach their children skills. So it's not bad.
That is so sad though.
In New York, the minimum wage is $15, but $16 in certain states, and so is New Jersey is $15.13.
Damn.
Yeah. So know your rights. Of course, if you're watching from Zambia has I think they raised the minimum wage. You can't pay domestic workers less than 1,500 kwacha.
That's
good.
Better.
Yeah.
Because they work.
They work.
In Zambia, domestic
a month. It's a lot.
Work has
less.
Work because they sweep the house. We don't do it every day here. It's like morning, noon, dinner. They cook, they clean, they take care of the rude children. They put them up. It's a lot of work.
I can't do with you.
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus. Oh God.
Right. Have you ever been a victim of a workplace witch hunt? Yes. Nicholas Jada.
Wow, Nicholas keeps coming up. I've never experienced that.
You've never? Lucky you. Winnie?
No.
What is a witch hunt festival? It is when your boss is nitpicking every single thing. You didn't send the email.
Yeah.
You didn't update the notes. You didn't do this. Even something that you didn't do because your boss just doesn't like you, to explain it in simple. Brenda Chalmers.
Brenda says, I will have 5 days. 5 days. God and I will be pushing Brenda,
That's
you
true.
are crazy.
That's true.
Pause says in Zambia, it's insane to see how people work, especially housemaids. Yeah, it's true. People work really, really hard, and for pennies, for pennies, it's crazy. Rules need to change. I agree. I think
I'm with you.
But I think that they've changed somehow. Workers are required to give them like if they've worked for you for a certain number of years, then they are entitled to like a settlement.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they are entitled to a certain settlement. There are leave days that they accumulate as they work for you. So those things I think have been kind of they've been put into place.
Hey Zana, thank you this morning. Amazing. I didn't know you were a soccer I know you love soccer, but I didn't know you like.
She's
Why is she a
into
baller
it.
like
You have
that?
no idea. She's into it. Priska, the background. I was like, girl.
Because you don't know Jack,
No,
even though you're a soccer mom.
no.
Yeah.
I know a little bit, but she.
I was like, is this a mini grandchild of Dennis Liwewe or something? Amazing, Zenith. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for coming today.
We're looking forward to having you again.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? When we had the first the pre-game commentary show when Zambia was about to play Congo, Sandra Soma called me and said, you guys should consider having Zenith on the show. I was like, why?
Wow.
She said she's a big soccer fan. I was like, really? She said, yeah. And then come to find out, Pastor Ernest was like, oh, I'm inviting Zenith on the show. So I was like, okay, there you go.
And
This
Zenith
is nothing.
also has a podcast about just life in Zambia, just like immigrants moving from Zambia coming into the United States of America. She's got a podcast. I will share the link of her podcast. Please follow her as well.
Awesome.
And Clement invited her to go to do Sundays for sports. She was like, oh yeah, even American football too. I was like, oh girl, she is busy.
She's got a boy. She's got a son.
Oh.
All right, guys, we are almost actually over a minute. What are your last words about horrible bosses before we go?
Yeah, I think we can't just leave you with problems without sharing how you can cope, right? So if you are in one of those situations where you're experiencing a boss that is micromanaging, a boss that lacks empathy, a boss who takes your work and parades it off as their own work, if any of these apply, or they don't talk to you respectfully, or they don't give you a chance, maybe you're in a meeting, they're calling on others to share their opinions, they don't call on you, I think first things first, go ahead and approach that person and say, hey, I have noticed ABC. Maybe you haven't noticed that this is how you're coming out, but this is how you're coming out. And usually when people are confronted with the truth, they'll be like, oh, either I'm sorry, or they'll change the behavior. If it doesn't change, go about them.
Yeah.
And of course, HR, like Priska said. Winnie?
Yeah, do the same thing. If they doing that, go above them or quit.
Well, I would encourage you, put everything in writing.
Yes.
Put everything in writing, send an email, go to your HR personnel, say this is what I'm going through. As a witch hunt, my boss is discriminating. This is what I'm going through. Send 1, 2, 3 emails, go to the next and then next boss and request for mediation. Yeah, request for mediation. And sometimes it could just be a misunderstanding. And our accents puts us in trouble. They think you're incompetent because you have an accent. So both of us are here in the United States of America. HR, America's got labor laws, and if you quit, you don't have a job, there's unemployment.
No, but you have to make sure before you quit, you have another job. You don't just quit. Then you go back on that. If you feel like you're tired, you've tried everything, you've gone HR, people above there, and nobody's listening to you, start making plans, start doing more application letters, get a job, and give 1 week notice, not even 2 weeks, maybe 5 days. Just say, I'll be leaving this Friday.
Don't do the Priska. But also, once you quit your job, we spend more time, and this is not to say that, we spend more time working. Also, think about, I've always been the one that's had a side hustle or had think about what is it that you can do for yourself. Spend like an hour to just promote your business, what you can do. Take the skills that you're learning from work and apply them to your business as well.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
I was going to just read the comment from Nampito. She says, follow the chain of command. You have the right to speak, right? And I just want to, share some other comments. Esau, hey, Esau is joining late. Good evening, Insaka Talk Show family. And Brenda says, sometimes HR is corrupt.
Guys, we're over. We're over by 4 minutes. Next week, we talk about horrible friends. Please join us next week from myself, Winnie, and Nellie. This has been Lizzie, HR Communication with the Boss. Okay. From us, this is goodbye till next week. Please join us next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.